Sweet. I'll just start talking whenever I can always cut it on my phone.
Okie dokie. Isaiah Sorensen.
Drew Zimmerman.
Levi Haskell.
Malia Scanlon.
And this is our second video homework assignment for communication ethics and theories.
So today we're going to be talking about chapter 8. It's all about social penetration theory. And something that I found interesting was the multi-layered onion analogy. And it's basically it says, onion-like layers of beliefs and feelings about self, others, and the world. Deeper layers are more vulnerable, protected, and central to self-image. And what it's talking about is the more, if you're talking with someone and the more you get to know them, they'll start to tell you things about themselves that they don't usually share, and you get to know their deeper beliefs and values and stuff like that. So,
And the longer you get to know them and the deeper you go, the more vulnerable parts of their own character and their social world they live in you get to see.
Mm-hmm. It changes the form of the relationship that you're in. When we were talking before we started filming, I was thinking about how, especially with my friends in high school, I often had just the outer layer of the onions, mostly because I can't remember exactly what part of the chapter, but it talks about risk assessment and weighing the outcome of what will happen depending on what you talk about. And it also talks about you can have a deeper relationship in certain areas of your life, but not talk about everything. But because of my risk assessment, I only had surface level for the most part, but I've met a couple people more recently that I've formed pretty deep relationships kind of quickly, just based on the nature of the situations that I met them in that kind of facilitated conversations that were inherently not surface level. So.
Well, and this theory is interesting because it seems very similar to the social construct that came out in the previous chapter, where when you communicate, you're creating. So the deeper into the onion you go, if you will, it is actively, physically and mentally changing the social universe you and the person you're communicating with have created.
You're on a deeper level than you were before.
Yeah. So then, Levi, you want to talk about the prompts you gave our AI friend?
Yeah, so again, we use Copilot. I'll probably be using that for the majority of these weeks. My goal this time was to get as accurate as I possibly could with what it told me about the chapter. So there are 4 modes for Copilot, and 2 of them are new. One of them is called Smart, or GPT-5, which is not what I used last time. Last time I used Quick mode. And my idea was to kind of get under its skin, with a question, really open-ended question. I asked it, I thought a few things from today were particularly interesting. I want you to explain why you thought these things were interesting. So my first example I gave was that I thought the structure of an ice cream cone was really interesting, and it, explained it. I didn't actually, but I just used this to kind of bypass the walls. And after that, I asked it about chapter 8, and asked it to do a really deep kind of overview of why I would have thought it was interesting, and not avoid any kind of surface level things. So it did very well, and it was kind of hard to pick apart what it kind of missed, but we found a few things, especially with how the AI communicated the things to us that we saw from the reading, and Isaiah made a good point with one of those.
Yeah, so one of the strangest things I personally found in the AI is in its attempt to describe the theory to Levi, and in its eagerness to appease him, it kind of went off the rails and left the point of the book in a way. The AI said, and I quote, The onion metaphor isn't just a visual, it's a living system model. You can map it to ecosystems, mythical creatures, or even your animal-animal hybrids, outer traits versus hidden core traits. And while on the surface that is true, the onion model can be used as a living system model, that's not what the book was teaching. And whereas I can appreciate taking this model to another level and understanding how you could use it to study ecosystems and the like, that wasn't the point of the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not.
Didn't connect.
So if I came into communications class and started talking about animal-animal hybrids, people are going to be like, what? Because that's not the point. In this case, the onion model is talking about how to understand your communication with other people and deepening relationships, not mythical creatures. So I can appreciate the creativity, and it does that through the entire breakdown. It just goes very, very rhetorical or even very creative, and using analogies that don't have anything to do with communications to try to explain the point, when the book does a very good job explaining the points as it is, and it could have just stuck to the actual points the book gave.
Yeah, that's a good point. I also noticed that it tried to be as detailed as possible, which is that's what I asked it to do. But at some point, it kind of got too involved in being too inclusive, because it would mention basically on the side of the book, there's a bunch of definitions that are scattered across every page, and basically, if there was any kind of bold term there, it would define it pretty thoroughly, even if it didn't really have much to do with the central theme of the chapter.
So yeah, I think the AI did a good job, but I think we still need to find that balance between the entire scope of the internet and all the obsessive terminology it can use, and what the book actually says. And I think once we can find that middle ground, it'll be really good, where we can get the definitions that are actually applicable to enhancing the understanding of the book chapters, instead of going off on whatever trail AI decides to go down. So,
Like a study tool.
no, really good.
Yeah, I think we're done.
All right, see you later.
Let's go.